Well, welcome everybody. It is Thursday, August 8th, which means we're still fresh into the month of August, and you're listening in on a webinar called Promote to Team Coordinator that I offer monthly. And tonight I want to focus on you. I want to focus on those of you who have joined me live and those who will listen to the recording. I want to make this a fun, lively call. The way we can interact with each other, as I said, is to type in at the sidebar panel any questions you have, because I love to find out what's top of mind with everybody. As an example, I'll give you an example, and we'll do this for real. You all came on this call for a reason. Maybe you like the sound of my voice. Or maybe you like some of the nuggets I share. But mostly you came on because there's an interest in developing into a team coordinator with Norwex. But you all have some things you're probably wondering about. So feel free to type in under the questions if there was one thing that I could talk about tonight that would make you feel like, oh, Sheila, you nailed it for me. That's what I wanted to know. I'm struggling with, or I want to know why this, or help me understand how to do this better. Whatever it is, as long as it's Norwex related, I want you to type that in so that I can personalize this session for all of us by covering things that are top of mind for each of you. How does that sound? Let's see if anybody's written anything in. Christy says I was a hoot because she saw me at conference. All right, got 2 questions so far. I'm struggling with onboarding recruits and their recruits. Great, I'm going to talk about that. And the next one is from Jenny. It's kind of like the fine print. She wants to know, once you have the recruits, how do you actually promote? Then what do you have to do to maintain your status? 2 great questions. Christy says, I just keep getting a big fat no for joining. Christy, it's okay. It's okay that people say no. So maybe let's start there. Because I like to answer some of the questions right away so that you believe me when I say that I'm here to serve. I have my own PowerPoint, but let's just take some of these questions head on. What do you do when someone says no? The first thing we do is we don't cry about it. And the second thing is we don't chase them down. Why do I say that? Okay, I got to always ask this question. Permission to speak freely. What do I mean by I want your permission to speak freely? I'm a bit of a storyteller. I love using analogies to help tell my point, and I would never want to risk offending anybody with my casual style of how I see how simple this business is. So does anyone want to type in and say, Sheila, you have absolute permission to speak freely tonight? Tell it like it is, girl. Okay, I think somebody's writing in and saying, speak freely, speak freely. Okay. Talk to us, Sheila. Okay. Preach it. Okay. Why don't you approach recruit? Well, okay. The element of someone saying no. I don't know why we take that no so personally, or we want to chase people down. I always think of customers and potential recruits. Behave yourself the same way you would tell a teenage or young adult female in your home how to approach dating. She asks a guy out to the prom. He's the school hero. He says no. Are you going to tell her to keep calling him until he wears down? No. No. You're going to tell her to accept no and move on, right? I mean, I don't have girls. I have 4 boys. So I would tell my sons the same thing. We get so fixated on one person, and yet the truth is, give an example. You go out to dinner, and the waitress always knows to say, would you like something to drink? Well, most nights I'm going to say no thank you because I don't want to spend 10 glasses for a bottle of wine. I'm not even a big drinker. Do you think the waitress, when I say no thank you, I'll just take water? Do you think she runs into the back and starts crying to the chef that a customer just said no to her? Okay, so that's the people that we want to chase. The next thing is, What about when we feel that we're not getting a good response from people when we offer recruiting? So without knowing all the details, I want to make a couple of statements. First off, sometimes I think we get confused when we believe we're inviting someone that all we've actually ever done is announce it. You know, we hold up a flyer. The company has a great promotion on. You should do this. What a deal. You should do this. And then we say, so are you going to do it? And I think that where the miscommunication breaks down is we get a lot of announcements from Norwex, or we have flyers we use, but it's our job to bring them to life in the form of an invitation. And sometimes I really think it comes down to word choice. Speaking of words, you're going to notice over the next couple of months, we are moving away from the word recruiter and recruiting, those two words, because I'm okay with those words, but a lot of people aren't. So we're going to change those words to team building and team builder. I think some of our word choice around joining Norwex could be things that talk about, do you find yourself curious about how to get involved in doing something good for the community? Does the Norwex mission speak to you like it did to me, and you feel that you would love to work in your community like I'm doing and help educate to a point families about different solutions and choices they could be making so that they have a better sense of wellness and impact on even local environments? I think part of it is also when we hand out recruiting brochures, which we'll call team builder brochures, that we're looking for other ambassadors, if you will, other messengers that would really like to get involved, can see the value in the work we do, believe in the products, would enjoy a discount for personal shopping and earnings through the sale of products. I also want to just say, and this is a lot of food for thought. It's not really directed at any one question, but the whole thing around recruiting is sometimes we have to go back and do our own checkup. What do I mean by that? I mean that sometimes we carry baggage about the word recruiting or feeling awkward about it. And I think we have to take a step back for a moment and find or redefine our passion about Norwex. And I will define the passion of Norwex for this purpose as being very prideful in the role of being a consultant. Sometimes that pride is hidden to everybody else because we haven't totally uncovered it for ourselves. We are a little shy. We feel a little awkward. We're not sure of the value we bring. So what I recommend to help people discover the value that a Norwex consultant provides, and at the same time reestablish a sense of pride in the role of a Norwex consultant, is I challenge you to take a piece of paper in the quiet of your evening, and you may not get to 10, but I want you to write down 10 reasons why you think someone else would want to use Norwex in their home. Not why you use it, because we know you use it. Why do you think someone else would ever want to use Norwex? What are all the benefits to using Norwex? I find that exercise helps you get really excited again about reasons you didn't even think of because they're not relevant to you. But to many others, they could be relevant. So you find 10 reasons, give or take, why someone would use Norwex products. The next thing you do, once you've done that, is you go back and now you look for 5 to 10 reasons why you think anyone would say, yes, I would love to host a Norwex get-together at my house. And you dig deep. You may have a personal, and it's okay, I'm not looking at you. Some of you might have a little reservation and say, well, I love hosting. I love going and doing parties with my host, but gosh, I wouldn't have many parties in my house. I'm not crazy about it. Well, guess what? They're going to sense that. And sometimes you might have some preconceived notions about who does and who doesn't want to host. So I challenge you to discover all the reasons why someone would. And then we take it one step further. You join Norwex for a few or one particular reason. You stay for that same reason or more reasons, but that's not enough. Why do you think anyone would? For example, let's say you never needed another dollar. You never needed to earn another dollar in your life. Okay? Let's say that your financial situation allows you the luxury to do things that you're passionate about without worrying about if you get paid. So the money you make at Norwex may not be on your hit parade, but guess what? It's on everybody else's. So you've got to tap into and move away from yourself, from all the things that just you believe, and discover and have capacity for everything else that someone else would think. When you get to that point of being really proud of what you do, what comes with that is confidence to speak perhaps a little more, with a little more clarity about what it is that you're offering. I don't know. I ramble. Does that make sense to anybody? Did that make sense to anybody? Just that challenge for redefining your purpose and good. I'm glad, because sometimes I ramble and I get crazy by myself and I think, gosh, I'm loving the sound of my own voice, but it might not be working for everybody else. All right, let's move on to some of the slides and I will come back to more questions. Okay. All right. Let's go. So promoting to team coordinator. I love this visual for so many reasons. So you're looking at a bunch of people on a lovely beach somewhere with a bonfire going, and I'm going to assume they may all not know each other, or they may not have started out the day together, but they've ended up around a bonfire that a couple of people put together, and it attracted people as they're walking along the beach. And I love the word tribe. It's kind of like get your people together, get your peeps together, get your community going, get your team on, create your tribe. Because that's such a buzzword today, especially women. So if there's guys on the call, thank you and welcome. Please stay. But I'm going to talk a little bit in the woman's world. A lot of our Facebook posts are about, who's in your tribe. It's girlfriend stuff. You know what I mean? Hanging out with my girls, and guys do the same thing. You've all got man caves. You hang out with the guys. But I love this picture because if you think about what you have, it's kind of like a bonfire. And your team isn't going to, you start out by yourself. You're the one who's got this amazing bonfire called Norwex going. And one person walks by the beach and keeps on walking. They're late for dinner. And somebody else walks by and stops, and you start chatting and you say, well, if you're not doing anything, come on, sit down. We'll watch the fire together. And then there's two. This is the important lesson here. Then there's two of you. And next walks down another person and another person. And all of a sudden it builds. This community that around your bonfire is building because, and actually it's usually as a result of the first person who joined you. In other words, that broke the ice for others to feel that they could join you when you first have one. Because then it's not just you, it's you and someone else. And it's the forming of a group, the forming of a community, of a tribe. And what happens is, after a while, it grows and grows because there's a lot of people hanging around that bonfire called Norwex. So the tribe, or the Norwex team coordinator position, is just 3 people. Whoops. And so you're probably saying to yourself, well, where am I going to find those people? Well, you're going to find them the same place you found everybody else. Now, some of you, it's the top of your head. And for a lot of you, it will be because you took a moment, you took a piece of pen and paper, and you said, okay, I want to add a letter to Frankie, right? I would call her Frankie C. Frankie C. So I would go through my friends, because I got those people that, they owe me, I owe them. It's just a love fest, and I'm going to ask them, right? And then we've got some relatives, and then we've got acquaintances, people we know through other people. We move to our neighbors, and if we've got young kids or old kids, we're connected to other people through our kids or through our pets. And then we have I for everything internet, whether it's our cell phone and texting and Facebook people and email people and all the rest of it. And so the only reason we use a Frankie list, it's really just a way to categorize people so that you don't forget them, right? Because the truth is, some of your relatives are your very, very best friends. Some of your neighbors you consider to be more of a friend than a neighbor. You're always going to hit your F group first. F for first. You're always going to go where you think you're going to get the warmest welcome. The people that already know you, trust you, and like you. Your acquaintances are a little, they know of you. They may feel that they could trust you. And if they knew you, they would like you. And so that's just a little baby step over that warm, fuzzy group that you're with. All right. So why did I say you need a C? Because I'm a realist. You're going to have what I call a chicken list. There are going to be people that for whatever reason, you will not tell them about Norwex. You won't ask them to look at a catalog. You won't ask them to a party that you're hosting. You won't ask them to host, and you won't ask them to join. Why? Because you're too afraid. I get it. So I say make a chicken list. I don't say forget those people. I tell you that you will one day put that chicken list under acquaintances, neighbors, wherever they belong, the moment you become confident that what you bring to anyone is of value. The reason they exist on your chicken list is you're still a little unsure of how the value of what you bring aligns with them, so you're stepping away. Let them stay on a list. Trust me, the day will come where that is no longer a chicken list because you're not chicken anymore. Does that make sense? I think it's so. I hope that's helpful too. All right. So you're going to go back to the same place. And where do you find people on your Frankie list? We all know it's at the party. But one of the big exciting news about why promote to a team coordinator, and I inserted this here so I wouldn't forget. So we know it's about you and a team of 3, and I'll get to the details in a moment. They're very simple, you and 3. But you've probably heard about the promote and grow bonus. So the very first time in Norwex you promote to a team coordinator, Norwex gives you $100 bonus. Now, up until 2 days ago when we announced this, or 3 or 4 days ago, it used to be, I used to say to people, yes, we'll pay you $100 after that first full month of being a new team coordinator, as long as you're paid at your title. And I would go through everything and explain that 99.9% of you will all be paid at title. That I can assure you, so it's guaranteed. But you had to wait that month. Well, the good news is we've stopped making you wait. Let me give you an example. You're on my call tonight. You've already got a recruit or two people or one person already on your team, or you've already got 3 people lined up that you want to talk to. So in August, you have 3 people join your team, or you've got one from June and one from January. It doesn't matter. But during August, you now have collected, if you will, 3 people on your team, and all of you put in just $250. Just $250. That's what's required. I call that half a party, by the way. You and the 3 personal recruits put in $250. You're done. You're golden. You have just met all the qualifications to promote to team coordinator effective September 1. You did all your work in August, and come September 1, your title changes. And you're going to get paid within days of that happening. You're going to get paid that $100 bonus within a few days of September 1st. So that's the big exciting news. You used to have to wait until October because Norweg said, well, after your first month at this new title at team coordinator, so you got the title September 1, so you're doing the full month of September, September's over, then they would pay it to you in October. So don't you think that's kind of nice and exciting? Because it's immediate. It's what I call instant gratification, if you will. Not that I like that term, but doesn't that make sense? Very wahoo. That's right. You get that bonus long before you ever earn your first commission check, okay? So I told you that it's you and 3 people, 3 personal recruits. And here you have it, you and 3, right? I used a hand sign, 3 people. And each of you do $250. And that's what qualifies you to become a team coordinator. Let's take a, oh, I've got a question. Let's see. So you and all 3 sell $250 in the same month to get the title and the bonus. Yes. And you promote to team coordinator. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a story about 2 consultants. Sally. Sally's a great consultant. She holds about 4 parties, and they're average. Nothing exceptional. About $500 in sales. Well, Sally earns $700 a month. I think that's pretty good for Sally. She goes out 4 nights a week. She's out 4 nights a week, and Sally earns $700. That's pretty good for a part-time gig, isn't it? Here we have, oh, now this is, look at this. Sheila made a mistake. Hold on. Watch this. Pen. Got to get my picture out of here. No. I'm seeing my face. Oh, good golly. Oh, well, that didn't work. I knew I forgot to update this. We had, you probably knew this, for a short period of time, we doubled that bonus, but that's over. It's over. I should have cleaned up this slide. It's a $100 Promote Grow bonus. I knew when I was going through, I knew I forgot something. But the story is still good. Mary's a great consultant. She holds 4 parties too, and they're average, just 500 in sales. But Mary started inviting others to join her new team, and she just promoted to team coordinator. She earned a $100 Promote Grow bonus. But she also earned $90 in commissions. Mary earned $990. Here's what's changed. Gotta get my picture out of there, but it won't go. I can't do it because I've got my web camera on. It won't let me draw, and because I'm seeing my face right now over top of what I want to draw. So I'm sorry about that. But let me explain a little further. This is $100 now. And Mary, you earn that $100 right away. And the $90 in commission, so Mary earned $890. I should just have killed this slide. What I wanted to show you, the real reason for this slide is that while Sally and Mary, 2 consultants, are doing the very same number of parties, the potential to earn an income that will only grow as your team grows. When you can't be everywhere all the time, and you now have a team that is also doing the same as you, it's kind of like being a franchise, if you will. So I'll use Chick-fil-A, okay, or Tim Hortons. If there was only one Chick-fil-A in town or one Tim Hortons, could you imagine how long that lineup would be to get takeout? So they said, let's make them in a variety of places so that every night of the week, everyone we know can always have a Chick-fil-A sandwich or a Tim Hortons coffee. So as a leader, it's kind of like saying, I can't do parties every night of the week and every night of the month, but I'm growing a team where we can help all our community have parties whenever they want because there's a few of us doing it, because I alone can't get to everybody. Does that make sense? Let's see if no Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, but great analogy anyway. Okay, so that's kind of, but I want to show you something else. People, and I spoke about this at conference, people ask me, Sheila, because I don't know why you want to promote to team coordinator. For many of you, I'm assuming it's because you love Norwex and it's a natural next step, right? It's like the next stage of your career. You've done a great job building up a clientele of customers and hosts, and now it's time to share what you know and help others do what you're doing. So it's a paycheck of the heart, I call it. For others, the income potential and the future business potential really speaks to your mind. You can see the future. But I got asked, well, Sheila, as I am building a team, someone might ask, well, why are you building a team? Why is it important to you to become a team coordinator? It's about the level of influence and long-term impact that any Norwex leader has. Mary is probably in front of, you tell me, what's the average number of guests at your parties? Average. I get you might have 21. I get you might have 2 or 3. So don't give me the highs, don't give me the lows, give me the average. 6. Leanne says 6. Anybody else? 4 to 7 says Shelley. 8. Okay. 5. Anybody else? 4. Okay, someone said, I'm new. My first in-home will be around 10. Deanna said 5 to 8 in-home, sometimes more online. Okay. Dana said 1. Yep, 1 can still be a party. All right, let's use 8. The Norwex average, I'm not sure, but I bet you it's about 7.5, half a person. How do you figure that, eh? I've only had one party. There were 3 guests. Okay, perfect. The average is probably somewhere between 7 to 8, but a party of 1, 2, or 3 can sometimes deliver stronger results than a party of 12. And sometimes people have had parties of $1,500 and there has been 6 people there. So I'm going to just use the number 8 if it's okay with you. So Mary is in front of 32 people in a month. Sally's in front of 32 people a month, right? Sally's got some influence happening, doesn't she? And if she's consistent, and some of these guests will be repeat guests, but wouldn't you agree that on average, Sally may in fact impact 25 to 30 homes every month? Over the course of a year, it could be 300 families. Sally's done a great job. Well, Mary's doing the same thing. She's holding about 4 parties, and she's in front of 8 people, give or take 32 families, sees some of them repeat. But, over the course of the year, Mary's in front of about 300 families too. But Mary's impact and influence is greater because Mary has got a team of other people doing what she does. And so when you think about the mission, creating safe havens, leaving a lasting legacy, a global impact, helping to reduce the use of harmful chemicals, creating awareness around plastics in the oceans and all the things that we could do at a localized level. Well, she's got 3 other people. And at this point, I said they're only doing 2 parties each. So 2, 4, 6 parties at 8. These three gals are probably in front of about, I said 6 parties times, about 40 people a month. Those 3 are in front of 40. If they are consistent, at the end of the year, they're going to probably, these 3 will have impacted 500 homes. So now Mary has had an influence of about 800 families versus Sally at 300. I hope I didn't confuse you. I've never done this before. It just hit my heart to share like that. The impact of what leadership really represents, that it goes beyond what we can personally touch and influence. Thank you, Shelley, because I made a royal mess of it because my slide was crazy wrong and I'm backpedaling myself. But thank you. Shelley says it was powerful. She also said, Sheila, get over it. Thank you. You're my kind of gal already, girlfriend. That it's all about the influence. And where I find, my husband just delivered me a coffee. Thank you, honey. Where this becomes even more powerful, this analogy that I've used for you, which is something you need to believe yourself, is as you want to grow a bigger team and you would like to one day move your team coordinator group of 3, and I can just hear the day you've got 8 people on your team and you're saying to some of your team, guys, I think we're going to become a sales leader group. I think we're going for the bigger times. You know, our community's growing 2 more and we could be a sales leader team. And somebody says to you, well, why do you want to be a sales leader? What's in it for you? And you're taken aback like, well, as a leader, I'm going to get paid more, but that doesn't feel very good. No, as a leader, and as we grow our team, guys, our impact collectively is growing. So I think it's really important and powerful to see the impact we have when we are, for the sake of a better word, franchising our purpose beyond what we are personally capable of doing on a consistent basis. I think that's the power of leadership. It's casting a vision, or the vision of the company, Norwex, our mission, and inviting others to join you. As you lead them, they follow you, and beautiful things happen. The other thing I want to talk about, you do realize that each and every time as a consultant, so it's not restricted to what level you are with the company, it is something that exists permanently for every consultant, no matter what title they are in our company. Each and every time a consultant or leader in Norwex welcomes a new person into Norwex, that new person has some fun things going on for them, their Fresh Start program, some instant rewards to affirm that this was a good decision on their part, right? The UPS driver shows up with a box of goodies, and they open in their living room, and it's a reward, it's acknowledgement. They feel like a rock star. Yay, I did something. They like me, you know? Mommy's a somebody. Okay? But for the recruiter, Norwex thanks you with a $150 shopping spree for helping them feel good about their first achievement, for helping them hit Fresh Start 1. Wouldn't you agree with me that what should be top of mind with every new consultant is the goal to submit the sales required to earn her kit for free? Now, come on. I understand the kit is well worth over $200. So if somebody misses it, okay, if misses the money, misses submitting the $2,000, they get charged $200 for the kit. They couldn't even buy it for that much, right? So you get me. But I would think every consultant's goal is to earn his or her kit for free. Norwex rewards you for helping them achieve that goal. You get a $300 shopping spree. So every potential new team member could in fact reward you with $450 in Norwex shopping spree money just for helping them off to a great start in their first 90 days. Did you all know that? Did you all remember that? Are you all excited by that? That's pretty powerful, because I want to see what you say. See, I told you this would be interactive. I like to read, oh, what did somebody say? I didn't know that. 150 and 300, Gail, is a total of $450. So tomorrow you sign me up and I submit my Fresh Start Step 1, which is 400 in my first 15 days. I'm getting the box of my Fresh Start rewards. You are getting a shopping spree of $150. And then I submit, then I make sure that I do about 5 parties in my first 3 months. And I submitted $2,200 in sales in 3 months with Norwex. I did 5 parties and I earned my kit for free. And Norwex sends you a $300 shopping spree. Now, some of you didn't hit your own Fresh Start, so it's hard to imagine, perhaps, or think about, well, is it easy to hit 400 in 2 weeks? Absolutely. Do I think for some people, if they're not doing, let's say, their Frankie list and stepping out of their comfort zone, it might take some a little longer to warm up. I look at it this way. It's kind of like a new recruit is, this might be a bad analogy, but I'm going to use it anyways. She or he is like a car parked in the garage. You've come along and recruited her into Norwex, and you've opened the garage door and you're inviting her to take the car out and go for a ride. There will be some Sunday drivers, and because it's Saturday, they won't move out of that garage. The cars stay in park. There'll be others who are so out of gas personally that they need a lot of coaxing to build their confidence, and so they barely can back down the driveway. There'll be others who are anxious and they obey all the traffic signs. They do not pass go, and they follow the stoplights, and they are away to the races. They hit every goal. They know when to stop, start, and their car is out there running all over the countryside. So sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I think what's important to help a new consultant is to somehow set the expectation of how he or she believes they can participate in Norwex and participate and contribute to their own success. I'm digressing. We were talking about the $450 shopping spree. You think I forgot. Some of you have earned it. I know you have. And that's a lot of money. All right. You've probably noticed that maybe this is different training tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's a full moon. I hope you're enjoying this and you're getting lots of nuggets, that perhaps it's not a do this, do that call, like you should do this and then do that and then do that. I'm really appealing to your heart tonight, the belief. I'm challenging you in some cases to rethink your belief or to look at things in a different way, and I hope there's value. And that's because I'm going to tell you something. Oh, good. Somebody likes the nuggets. Oh, good. Thank you. Because tonight I'm going to be honest, I feel like a squirrel tonight. I don't know why. I'm feeling squirrely. I feel like, okay. But I just feel like talking to you about leadership and about the journey and how to make it happen for you, because I believe in it. The way I look at taking the approach of promoting to a leader is the same approach I would take to onboarding a new consultant. And maybe you'll find this helpful when we talked about onboarding. You can teach someone some skills, right? Skills are teachable, skills are learnable, right? But if the heart's not convinced, if the passion isn't there, it's not always a well-executed skill, is it? Because it's kind of like, well, who cares, you know? I don't feel like doing it, you know? So the heart has to come first. The belief has to come first. I think when you open up your heart to the belief and you believe in what you're doing, you believe in who you are and what you offer and what you're giving, the brain quickly recognizes that, gosh, if the heart believes it, we're going to do our best to achieve it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I think it works. The heart runs the brain. So the brain then, once your passion, your brain can pick up new skills. But the human aspect of all of this, the human condition, if you will, the something that you and I have no control over. We can influence it, but we cannot control it. And if I wasn't sitting on a chair, I would show you my feet. I'll tell you why I'd show you my feet. Because no matter how much we can inspire the heart, no matter how much we can talk to the brain and teach some skills, only the person who's attached to the feet can make their legs move. I cannot make your legs move, and you therefore cannot move the legs of your new recruit. That is that person's responsibility. And to me, that's the whole crux of being successful in life, whether you're a student, whether you're a Norwex consultant, whether you're a Norwex leader. That I look at things as being there is the belief, the heart, the talent, the skill, and the practice and action, which is your feet. So you asked me about onboarding. As long as you can discover the passion that is alive in the other person, so you help them discover their passion, and I'm going to give you the one question you can ask them that will reveal the passion. Okay? So you you bring their passion to light, to the surface. You talk to the brain. You show them the tools and resources that you used to help you get what you wanted, so that they know if they use those same resources, it will help them get what they want. All right. And then you can encourage them to move. You can encourage them to take the car out of the garage. But you can't push it out of the garage for them. They got to get in the driver's seat. They got to gear into reverse and back out. Make sense? So the question I said that I believe discovers and uncovers the passion of someone is when we are having that recruiting conversation. And I'm a big believer in using the Norwex Opportunity Guide. Not because it has beautiful words, but because I look at the pictures, and I have one up here actually, and to me it tells a story. I'll try to be steady. You see this? So, see, I look at it and I could say, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about what I think is the Norwex opportunity, and hope that what you discover is we're just a group of real people having a real impact. Are you excited to learn a little bit more? It's hard to do this, by the way, backwards. As you know, Norwex is all about our global mission. We are all about making an impact to improve quality of life by reducing chemicals. And I might skip right to the bottom and say something like, and what's really exciting is you'd be doing business with a company that's been around for about 25 years. So we really know our market. We really know microfiber. We really know the good work we're doing. And then I might move to something over here. And then I might start to ask questions. And I might say, so as I think about, Mary, why you might be looking at Norwex. So far, do you like what you see? Blah, 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 blah. And so if you thought about building a business, I'm getting building a business on your time, what kind of time do you think you would like to see yourself involved with Norwex? Because we just want to blend in alongside your life. How often would you like to do Norwex? And so forth. Okay, I love this brochure. I think it answers everything, and it works really well for someone like me who's a squirrel who needs little cue cards to stay on point. But here are the two questions. This is the first question. It's not the one that reveals their passion. This was the hardest question I ever had to learn. Are you ready to get started today? Are you ready to get started today? Is today the day we start? Should we get online and get you going now? Okay. And she says, yes. And everything is wonderful. Okay. And then I'll tell you the next question. But let's say she says no. Oh, I don't think so. I'm not so sure. I think when we as Norwex consultants and leaders of ourselves show some vulnerability, it's when we are at our best. What do I mean by that? She just said, no, I'm not sure. I got to think about it, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm going to talk to you about how I would approach it, showing my vulnerability. I'm not making this up, by the way. I might say, you know, it would help me a lot. I'm fairly new at this. I'm learning how to have these types of conversations with people. Was there anything that I forgot to say, or did anything I say not come out sounding very good? Your giving me feedback would help me do my job better. And I would so appreciate your honesty. 9 times out of 10, people will tell you, oh no, you were wonderful. There's nothing, I need to see what my husband says, or blah, blah, blah. And that's okay. You can say, well, I think that's wonderful. I just want to make sure I served you well. I call that servant leadership. 1 out of 10 might say, yeah, you never mentioned how much the discount is. So I got to think about it. Oh, my bad, my bad. Okay, I'm just playing with you. So in other words, a no shouldn't throw you. A no should be your opportunity to be a little vulnerable and ask, can you help give me some insight? How did I do? I'm new at this. I'm learning. And I want to do more of these, and I want to do them really well. So your honesty would be appreciated. How many of you think you could do that? How many of you think you could take that approach? Beautiful. Shelley, no, you don't need that, girl. You can do it. Because you're simply saying, I think I did my best, but if I didn't, can you tell me where I could have done a little better? Right? Now, this is the question I think is the deal breaker. And it's only in my opinion. You won't see it written anywhere in Norwex. But after doing this for as long as I have, if you could just ask one question out of everything else you're going to talk about in your interview, recruiting conversation, and just look at somebody and say, gosh, I'm so excited that you would love to be a part of Norwex. Let me ask you one question. What is the one thing that you would love for Norwex to do for you and your family? What's the one thing? And her answer or his answer typically will tell you what her passion is. What is her passion, emotion for being involved with Norwex? She might say anything from, I just want my family to be healthy, and I want to learn more and build a healthier home for my family and everyone I care about. Well, what drives her passion? Her family and a sense of doing the right thing, choosing safely, choosing wisely, using products that are good for her family. If she says, you know what, nothing could please me more if I could send my kid to an after-school program, that would just make my heart sing. Well, now you know that her motivator is a source of income on a consistent basis to help her achieve something for one of her children. She might say, you know, I don't know what Norwex could do for my family, but for me, it would fulfill a sense of purpose. I'm excited about your company's mission. I think it's important. I think it's time we all did something about it. Well, now you know that the mission is part of what drives her. So let me ask you, because I love making these, is that going to be a good question to ask? And Diana, good golly, don't be crying. Don't be crying. Can you see yourself asking just one question using some form of these words? What would you like Norwex to do or give for you and your family? For me, it was I wanted to get out of the house and I wanted to earn some money so I could get my nails done whenever I wanted. And look at it now. I'm getting my nails and my feet done. I love what I do. You know, what might be what you say to her. But whatever it is, it's a connector for both of you because it's going to be a little emotional. Even finances are emotional. So you're connecting. There's an emotional connection, and you now have insight into what makes her heart tick or beat. Sound good? So, in summary, because I have gone off script, but I like going off script. I'd rather talk about what's real right now. You have a great opportunity ahead of you for a number of reasons. Because for some of you, depending on where you live in the US, your summer is kind of over. Routine is going to be creeping in slowly, and it will be for us in Toronto because we are 1 week into August. There's still those hazy, lazy days of summer to get through, but we know what's right around the corner is September. We know that September is typically, for most people, I think, September, I found as I got older, September is more of my sense of New Year. Don't you find that if you're a mom or a parent, an aunt, or a school teacher, that the time of renewal isn't January 1, it's usually September, that even as we don't have kids in school anymore, it's the start of a new year based on finishing up the lazy days of summer with not the same routine, and we get back into wanting to feel cozy in our homes, cozy with our family, deciding that, yes, this fall I'm going to lose weight. This fall I'm going to a gym. This fall I'm going to start a book reading club. This fall I'm going to do this. When the kids are back in school, I'm going to do this. The reason I think it's an excellent time to have conversations with people about getting involved with Norwex is because I think Norwex fills so many different reasons for people. I think it provides a sense of purpose, a sense of personal development, a sense of profit, and a sense of being with people. So I think there's so many things, and it always seems to me that this time of year is when people are starting to think about, gosh, I would like to do something a little different this year. I think when people say this year, they usually mean September, not January. I don't know, maybe your experience is different, but I kind of think that that back to school is that time. Now, Christine says something very, very interesting. She says, most of my parties are done online. I find it harder to connect on a personal level with individuals who I may think want to join my team. Christine, I got one thing for you. I don't do any parties. I'm corporate. I don't do any parties, but I can tell you what I would do if I did Facebook parties. I think they're wonderful that, it's kind of like this. And you can't really connect with people. You're connecting with everybody at the same time, kind of at the same level. But I can give you an example from tonight without embarrassing anybody. Oh, I'm going to embarrass her. It's okay. No, I don't think Shelley's going to mind. There are some of you who have been consistent in your comments. Let's just say I felt that I needed to call a small group of you tonight for whatever reason. I know who I'm calling based on who interacted with me. It's only natural. Shelley, I'm using Shelley as an example, and a few others of you. Sorry, Shelley, I hope you don't mind that I'm picking on you. But our names sound the same. Shelley, Sheila. So Shelley's typed in a few times to me. There's a rapport there, a sense of humor almost. And so I would pick up the phone if this was an online Facebook party. And tomorrow I'd say, Shelley, I got to tell you, you had me distracted, girl. You had me looking at your answers all the time. But the real reason I'm calling is it occurred to me, something clicked, and I got to talk to you more about Norwex. Are you good with that? Would you be cool with that? Because I really felt a connection last night online. So Christine, would that work for you? Make it personal. You said, to use your own words, I find it harder to connect on a personal level. So my challenge to any of you who are doing online is learn and find a way to make it personal. You may not be able to do it with everybody, but you sure can with a few of them. And the ones that may identify themselves to you through the Q&A is who you can reach back to. So let me ask you, as we're closing, you've given me an hour. I think that promoting to team coordinator is all about understanding that your influence and impact will be greater. And I want to remind you of something as well, especially if you're fairly new and it's one of the first calls you've ever been on with Norwex. Let's talk about the word recruiting for a moment. I know that for some of us, the R word is awkward because we feel that that is the skill we need to learn in order to become a leader. And I'm going to tell you it's not. And there's two reasons. The actual skill of recruiting that you believe you need to know more of is actually the only skill that I know that most of you ever came to Norwex with. You came with the skill of recruiting long before you came with the skill of selling or booking, to use our business analogies. Why do I say that? When you first joined Norwex, you were given a kit. You needed to schedule a launch party. And we can use the word recruit or we can use the word invite. It doesn't matter to me. You needed to invite and recruit people to your launch party. You needed to invite or recruit people from your Frankie list to hosting your first parties. While you were at your launch party or your first parties, you were in front of invited guests. They were not customers. You had to recruit your guests or invite your guests to become Norwex customers, your customers, and to actually become a user of the product that Norwex offers. You had to recruit them. They didn't know Norwex. In order to grow your business with bookings, you had to invite or recruit people to take one of your available dates, to understand that they too would be excited to share Norwex with the people they care about, and so you invited them to look at an available date. You recruited them. So the skill of recruiting, in my opinion, is something you are very good at already. The only difference is you were recruiting people from a Frankie list to launch parties. You were recruiting guests to being customers. You were recruiting customers and guests to being hosts. And now you're going to be recruiting, inviting people to just another level of experience with Norwex. The way I see it, there's 3 levels of experience with Norwex, 4 actually. There are 3 things or 4 things if you want to add leadership in. You offer people the experience of wanting to use the product as a customer. You can offer them the experience of sharing the product as a host. And you can offer people the opportunity to become a consultant and get involved with Norwex and share the mission and attract customers and hosts. The 4th experience would be leadership. So I like to keep it at 3. At any given moment at your parties, there are 3 things people can respond with. Yes, I'll buy. Yes, I'll book. Yes, I'll join. Because I'm telling you, you already have the gift of inviting. You have the gift of recruiting, having those conversations. You just need to remember that your offering goes beyond selling the product, hosting. It's now speaking to those who are curious and would like to get involved. You and I both know that the more parties you have, the more people you're in front of, the better your odds are. My advice would be to, just for kicks and giggles, take a piece of paper after tonight's call, right? And I'll send you something tomorrow, a handout that helps you build your team. Think right away of 3 people who come to mind right away that you would like to invite to join this new team you're building because you are looking to make a greater impact and influence with Norwex. Write down in pencil 3 people's names. And beside it, write all of the reasons you think anyone would want to, or all the reasons why anyone would enjoy being a Norwex consultant. All the reasons. And then I want you to pick up the phone and, using your power statement, if you need that kind of conversation help, just say, hey, it's me, Sheila. You know I love Norwex. You know I love being a consultant. I'm kicking it up a notch. I'm going to try to build a Norwex team. And the reason I'm calling you is I thought of you, because when I started putting this team together in my mind, you were one of the first people that came to mind. So I know I have to ask you to take a look at joining Norwex and coming alongside me on my team. And then when someone says yes, and some will say no, and that's okay. That's why I told you to use a pencil. Just make sure you say, okay, I'm excited you're with me on this, and I want to help you get something from this. What do you want Norwex to do for you? And from there, I think everything will play out as it should. And I think the idea of promoting to team coordinator seems so doable. Won't say easy, but simple. So I've talked a few minutes over tonight. How was this call? Was this a good call for you? I didn't lose anybody, but that could mean that you're all still sleeping. But I'm going to stop recording.